The shocking events that unfold in the July 1, 2025, episode of General Hospital set the stage for chaos, survival, and tragic loss in Port Charles. As the firebombs fly and secrets come to light, not everyone will make it through this devastating chapter unscathed. A fateful night at Charlie's pub. The day begins with a terrifying attack on Charlie's, the beloved pub that has become a staple in the heart of Port Charles. What seems like a regular evening at the bar quickly escalates into a deadly inferno when a firebomb is hurled at the building. Inside, Christina is just finishing up her shift, unaware of the imminent danger. As the flames spread rapidly, she finds herself trapped behind the bar, struggling in vain to douse the fire with whatever she can find. Just when it seems like all hope is lost, Marco, on his way to check on his mother, spots the blaze and rushes into action. With only a blanket to shield them from the suffocating smoke, Marco manages to drag Christina to safety. Dante, always quick to respond in a crisis, arrives just in time to lend a hand and help them escape. The pair is saved, but not without injuries. Minor burns and smoke inhalation are enough to land them both in the hospital, shaken and vulnerable. For Michael, the traumatic experience brings back painful memories of his own time trapped in a fire at Sonny's penthouse, a flashback that has haunted him since. The terrifying ordeal resurfaces deeply buried trauma, leading Michael into a PTSD spiral. The past haunts him as he grapples with his feelings of helplessness and fear. The physical scars may have healed, but the psychological ones are far from gone. He confides in Sasha about his lingering need for pain medication, a painful reminder of how the past continues to shape his present. His emotional spiral has only just begun, and it's clear that he'll be battling this internal struggle for some time. The tragic death of Natalia. Meanwhile, tragedy strikes elsewhere in Port Charles as Natalia's storyline takes a heartbreaking turn. When Chase and Anna arrive at her hotel room, the scene that greets them is nothing short of devastating. Natalia is found unconscious on the couch, and the circumstances surrounding her condition are alarming. Empty pill bottles and the unmistakable scent of alcohol fill the room, suggesting that Natalia may have taken matters into her own hands in a final, desperate act. Rushed to General Hospital, the prognosis is grim. Despite the best efforts of the medical staff, Natalia is pronounced dead. The loss hits hard, especially for Marco, who is devastated when he arrives at the hospital and learns the tragic news. Distraught and broken, Marco confronts Anna and Chase, but the devastation of the situation leaves him little room to process the overwhelming emotions that come with the death of his mother. He runs to her hospital room, hoping against hope that there has been some mistake, only to find her gone. The fallout from the fire. As the fire at Charlie's continues to wreak havoc on the bar, its future remains uncertain. Though no lives are lost in the blaze, the destruction is monumental. Charlie's pub, a central location in the community, is likely to be a total loss. The patrons and the staff, including Christina, are left wondering if this attack was merely a random act of violence or part of a larger, more calculated scheme. It isn't long before the mastermind behind the fire is revealed, Sidwell. The shadowy figure, who has been a lurking presence in recent storylines, is confirmed to have orchestrated the fire at Charlie's. The revelation is chilling, especially as Sidwell's involvement in the penthouse bombing is called into question. With a history of manipulation and deceit, could Sidwell be behind the deadly attack on Sonny's home as well? The connection seems too sinister to ignore, and the potential for further destruction looms large over the residents of Port Charles. As the investigation unfolds, it's clear that Sidwell's plans are far from over. His cold and calculating nature promises that the worst is yet to come. The community grieves and wonders what's next. The tragedy at Charlie's is just one piece of the puzzle, and as the pieces begin to fall into place, the tension in Port Charles escalates. The residents are left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives, unsure of who to trust or what dangers lie ahead. As the truth about the firebombing and the mysterious figure behind it comes to light, the impact on the community is profound. Who is Sidwell really working for? What does he want, and how far is he willing to go to achieve his goals? These are the questions that linger in the air as the investigation unfolds. As the dust settles on the fire at Charlie's, it's clear that the aftermath will be felt throughout the town. For some, it's a wake-up call that a much darker force is at play. For others, it's the beginning of a new chapter, one that is defined by secrets, lies, and the threat of more chaos. As Sidwell's grip tightens around Port Charles, the stakes continue to rise, and no one is safe. The road ahead. As the month progresses, the lingering effects of the fire and the death of Natalia will continue to unfold. Michael's struggles with PTSD, Marco's grief over losing his mother, and the fallout from the firebombing will shape the stories that follow. Meanwhile, the specter of Sidwell's machinations continues to loom over the town, leaving the residents wondering what, or who, will be targeted next. In the midst of all this turmoil, the question remains: will Port Charles be able to withstand the storm, or will the darkness closing in around them prove to be too much? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the fallout from these explosive events will have long-lasting consequences for all involved.